Hi, and thank you for tuning in. I just wanted to come on here and really have a real talk about what it means to me being a mother with. I just feel like there's a lot of pressure to do a lot of things and be a lot of things, right? And so I think that one thing, I've been reading this book, Parenting from the Inside Out, and it's really good because it's by Daniel J. Siegel. You're learning how to parent from the inside out, which means you're reparenting yourself. And what does that mean? It means that um, for me, I didn't grow up in this. Okay, I'll tell you, I'm not going to tell you what I didn't grow up in. I'm going to tell you what I did grow up in. I grew up in like, I'm crying. Okay, go to your room, go cry, right? You have something to be sad about, go cry. Or there's nothing to be sad about. Why are you crying? Don't cry. Okay, so both of those are telling me, one of them is telling me shut down your emotions. There's no reason to cry. You should be happy, right? Telling me how I should feel. The other one is telling me, okay, well, if you're gonna cry, go to your room. I can't stand you when you're crying, right? I can't handle your emotions. Okay. The other one was, I'm gonna give you a reason to cry about. Okay, so then I shouldn't be crying. So then you're gonna give me a reason, right? I don't know. I don't even know how to explain that one, but those are the top three. And so I was journaling as well because every time I read, I like to journal, even if it's just any type of book. I like to journal. And obviously not any type of book, but most of the parenting books I like to journal and just get it out there, whatever I'm feeling. So I came up with this word. I thought it was so unique and creative, and I think that's why I was like, I need to come on here and talk about it because I don't normally what I see on Instagram and on YouTube, it's the happy parenting day in my life, and everybody is so happy, and let's go to the library, which I do. And I think that's why I don't want to do a day in the life because mine would look like that. I do go to the library, we do get out, we do check out books, we read, we stay for story time, right? But those are the happy, positive moments. I think that the realness of being a parent is the tough moments where you're crying in the bathroom, where you're crying in the shower, where you're sitting in the potty and you're just sitting there taking a deep breath, having a breather, taking a moment to yourself because normally I don't have that privacy. And when I do get that privacy, I sometimes literally just sit there and I breathe. And sometimes my partner will walk in and say, what are you doing? Or knock, what are you doing? Just taking a moment to breathe. That's it. Like literally, I'm just breathing. That's it. Sometimes I do it at my parents' house when they're there and they take care of Ava. And it's just having that time to literally breathe. That's it. And so I came up with this word, got sidetracked, came up with this word, and I call it Momzilla because we always talk about brides and how, as a bride to be, you turn into this whole other person. You want perfection. Me, I'm talking about myself. I wanted perfection. I wanted everything to be just right. And because it was during the time of COVID, it had to be even more perfect, or not more perfect, but everything had to be right because you only have this many people, only this many people can be invited, and only you can only do this, and it's so hard because no one's working and everything's shut down. So it was a big deal. And I remember I referred to myself as Bridezilla. I don't know if anybody else did. Sure you did. And because it was so intimate and so small, um I think that was the other thing, that it's like, well, then who do you invite? I'm getting sidetracked completely. So the point here is that I came up with this word Momzilla and I wrote it. And it's so interesting to me. And it was so funny to me because I wrote, I don't like this version of myself, of Momzilla. And so what am I talking about? What am I saying? I'm saying that I don't like when my battery is on low. Just like your phone is charging and tells you 10% battery. Well, there's no way of somebody else telling me that my battery is at 10%. The only thing that someone can say is, hey, why are you tired? Why are you upset? Why are you so angry? Why are you so frustrated? Right? And like that's just when I go somewhere and it's like, gosh, I'm just so drained, or I'm losing my patience with her. And I don't like being that version of myself, that Momzilla, as I so called myself. Because I'm reading that book, it places a mirror in front of myself. No one else told me, no one sees the daily, literally every minute of the day and how it goes and how parents working parents, all types of parents, single parents, all types. No one sees how heavy it is or how exhausting it is or everything that we go through, everything that we have to take care of, right? And so I think that when I was reading this book and it told you, or told me to enjoy, here's a quote I want to read. Enjoying your child and sharing in the awe of discovering what it means to be alive, to be a person in this wondrous world, is crucial for the development of your child's positive sense of self. And so here's another one. At these times, we may be swept up in our own emotions and lose perspective. At these times, we can no longer think clearly and are at high risk of overreacting and causing distress to our children. Right there, I wrote today's date and I wrote, that's me. Today, I feel like that. I feel like I'm overreacting. I'm not reacting the way I normally react. When Ava has big feelings, I totally hug her. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to let it out. You're having big feelings, or you're feeling like this, or you're feeling, okay, I'm here for you because that's it. I want to break the cycle, right? And so that's normally what I say. But today I was so swept up, and this said it perfectly. And this is so interesting is that I just thought, okay, what makes me happy? What do I need to do for myself right now when she fell asleep? And that is reading. I love to read. I love to journal. I love to exercise. But it's raining, and so I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to go out in the rain. But I decided to pick up the book. And when it said that we may be swept up in our emotions, it just made me like, they know what I'm talking about. It's so true. I'm not the only one. And I want to let anyone else out there know that if you're feeling like this, swept up in your own emotions and lose perspective, and you can't enjoy your child because your battery is at 1%, you feel like you're losing your identity, you don't have time for yourself anymore. Look, my hair, like, I don't even know if I brushed it today. No, I didn't, because it's so tangled. And that's one of the things. That's just a basic necessity, a basic hygiene. And so I just want to say that, you know, at these times, I couldn't think clearly anymore. Today I was at my limit, and I think it's like where you're at that point of a cliff where you're going to have a mental meltdown. And for me, because I have a human being relying on me, a little 1-year-old, there is no, I'm just going to go lay in bed and I'm going to cry. I'm just going to lay in bed and I'm just going to lay there, right? No, there's no opportunity until I have that opportunity, and that doesn't come at the moment I need it, right? And so I totally got swept up in my emotions. I lost perspective, literally reading this, and I no longer thought clearly today when I wasn't capable of handling her big feelings because I myself had big feelings that were right there, and I did have to push them because it's like she needs me, except I cannot be there for her. And so it's tough. And then I feel bad because I know that I'm causing her distress. Okay, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. But in those 5 minutes, that guilt, oh my God, it really, really is so consuming. When I read that, I felt so bad. I felt like the worst person ever. Not just parent, the worst person. How could I do that to a 1-year-old? How am I even capable of how did someone even give me that responsibility to have a human being, to take care of a human being, to literally be responsible for this human being? That is the biggest responsibility. And so I'm over here just pounding myself with all this guilt. I'm doing that to myself because no one else knows. No one else knows what's going on. I mean, my partner came home. He obviously took care of the baby. She fell asleep. But no one else knows this guilt that I am carrying. And it's like these rocks hunched, and they hunch over my back, and I'm just walking around like this. Like, I feel like, I know this is a comparison, but I literally feel like I'm Jesus carrying this big ass cross, huge ass cross. And I'm like, I can't. And I need someone to come take that off me and say it's okay, or just, I don't even know what, but like, take that cross off me, because that is the biggest cross in the world, and I'm carrying it, and I feel like I can't anymore, and I'm just Momzilla, and I'm the worst person ever, and this skill is consuming me. So, grab my handy dandy journal, and I started journaling exactly what it was telling me. I started journaling based on that, right? That's like the, what do you call it? That's like the prompt. So I started journaling, and I started realizing that I journaled everything that happened today, everything, and how I felt. And I even drew a circle because I felt like that was me continuing the cycle after I had said that I didn't want to continue the cycle. So here I am writing everything. Well, I have to give myself grace because I'm human and I'm learning, and I want to break the cycle, and it's hard and it's tough and it's triggering, and I have to give myself grace. I have to give myself permission to feel my feelings and acknowledge that when we're on a plane and they tell you put your oxygen mask on first before you put it on someone else, otherwise you will die. That is exactly 100%, 1,000% true when it comes to parenting. Put your own mask first before. I have to put my own mask first before I can put it on her, before I can give her my everything and be the best parent and read books enthusiastically and play and build blocks and jump in puddles like we did today. I have to first put my oxygen mask on first. And what that means for me right now in this moment is journaling and giving myself that grace that maybe my battery is low. I need to charge myself, and I have been neglecting myself without doing it consciously. I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna neglect myself. No, it just so happens that I get in this busy routine of being a mom. That's okay. So I wrote positives I did today, and I think that this is really super important in our society, is that we keep going. We're like hamsters. Somebody once said, I heard this somewhere, I don't know who said it, is that we're hamsters and we're in the circle and we're just going and going and going, and we don't get off the hamster wheel, like we just keep going. And so I do want to say that as a parent, I can totally relate to that. And I giving myself grace and giving myself compassion and learning how to love and respect and give myself that compassion to me and my inner child. I wrote positives I did today. And I think that it's so beautiful of myself to have done this because it really allowed me to realize that that one moment that I lost my temper or I didn't have patience is this portion of the day. And it's so sad how it's so awful how we as parents really feel guilty for doing something or for saying something or for acting a certain way. And I don't know why I felt this guilt. I don't know if it's me feeling like I have to just be this wonderful mom 100% of the time, or I'm breaking the cycle and it's hard. I don't know what it is, but man, it would be really nice. And maybe I'm also doing it because I need to give my inner child those positive affirmations. And I know that it starts with me, reparenting myself. It starts with me. And I think that that's what I was journaling about, is forgiving my inner child. And I'm telling myself that none of anything was my fault, and whatever, as a teenager or as you grow up, right, you take responsibility, but everything else as a baby, as a little human being, was not my fault. And just giving myself that grace and that compassion. And so I wrote that I have compassion for myself, and I can have that compassion, and I will have that compassion. And so one of the positives that I think is really important for me to just realize that I did do is that in letting her appreciate life, because she is one, she just came into this world, she doesn't know anything, and she's learning. And like the book said, when we appreciate her, we're giving her a positive sense of self. And so parents can accept their child's invitation to slow down and appreciate the beauty and connection that life offers each day. So by giving her, or by allowing her to slow down, and by allowing myself to slow down, we can both appreciate that beauty and connection that life offers. And so I totally did that today. It was raining. I slowed down. I didn't rush to the car. I didn't say, "Oh my God, it's raining," or, but I did that consciously because I saw her go outside, and I said, "Oh, she's watching the rain. Like it's like," and she says, "Awa," and it's just like, to her, it's just water trickling, which it is, literally is. Like they are so little children are so marveled by water coming down. And I started thinking about that too. Wow, it is just water. Like it's raining, and like it's such a big deal. Oh my God, it's raining. Or like, oh, it's raining, and get an umbrella or something, right? And she just walked outside slowly. She took her time. She looked up. She looked at the water. She said, "Ah, wow." She just started walking. That was it. She was just like, kind of like, oh, okay, water, and right, there's so much. And I just stared at her. I just observed her. Like Maria Montessori says, I observed the child. And then I I just watched her. I just literally watched her, and I observed her as she just ran around in puddles. She ran from one little puddle, and then she saw another one, and then she ran there, and then she would look at me like, am I gonna say anything? And I was just there smiling at her, like at my, and for a second there I was like, wow, this is what it feels like to be a kid, to enjoy the beauty of water raining, of rain, right? Water is raining, or water's falling. I don't know the right sentence, but the right words for that. But it really was that, and it made me realize that I take it so seriously. Or maybe us as adults, we take it so seriously. Like, oh my God, it's raining, and I need to get a rain jacket, or I need to get this. And I didn't get a rain jacket. I just walked outside with her, just like her. I just walked outside, and I just watched her enjoy the rain and appreciate it. And I was also like, wow, this is what it's like to be a kid. You just walk outside and you're free. Like, that's the word right there for today. That's the word for today. Free. She was free. She ran in the puddles. She loved it. And she ran from one side to another side, and she jumped, and she splashed, and she couldn't believe it. And then she picked up a leaf that was wet, because there was a bunch of leaves on the puddles, and she just picked them up, and she was looking at them. She would crinkle them up and hear the sound, sensory. She was just enjoying everything. Her jacket was getting wet, everything. Like, she wasn't dressed water for the rain, and I wasn't dressed for the rain. Nothing was waterproof on neither of us. And just enjoying the rain. And then finally, I don't know if it was 10-15 minutes, but maybe 20, I don't know. But after some time, I said, okay, because she came up to me and she said, "Mom," and I said, "Are you done?" And then she didn't say me. I was like, okay, let's go. And we got in the car, and I felt so proud of myself in that moment, because I also thought, I don't think I remember playing in the puddles. And yeah, it's true, because my, my mom did say that she doesn't agree with her getting wet like that. But then it made me realize, like, maybe I am breaking the cycle, because maybe that's why I don't like the rain. Or maybe it is seasonal depression, though, for sure. I get that 100%. Or I don't know if it's seasonal or it's all the time, but the point is that it was so beautiful to watch her appreciate nature's beauty, water falling down from the sky, and see it so simple in her eyes. I put myself in her place, and I just allowed her to run around and be free, because I didn't want to stop her. She was loving it. She was having the time of her life. Like McDonald says, she's loving it. And it's beautiful to see that. And that's why I realized, wow, that was amazing today. And then for 5 seconds, I didn't have patience anymore. My battery was dying. I couldn't handle her big feelings. And I'm over here feeling guilty and punishing myself, literally, for one thing. And so I do want to say that I repaired that, because it's really important to me to repair in the relationship, and just in any type of relationship. I did apologize to her, and I wrote that down. I apologized to her, and I told her how much I loved her. And I'm reading to you from my journal. We laughed and we giggled. And that's something that's really, really, truly important to me, is repairing the relationship, because I want her to know that it was mommy, and It has nothing to do with her, because it really doesn't. It's not her fault or her problem that I am having big feelings inside, bottled up, repressing them, and I can't handle hers because I'm being triggered, and that has nothing to do with her. And so I ended with, children need to be enjoyed and valued, not managed. And that was actually something that I got from the book. And so I just want to come on here and just say that for anybody out there that, you know, feels guilty for anything, or you have this resentment from your childhood or anything, I think it's so, for me personally, it has helped me a lot to journal about it, to read about how to reparent yourself and give yourself grace. And I think that's so important, because I feel like one thing, I don't know why I'm gonna cry, but I feel like one thing is that I need to give myself permission to feel my feelings. And I have to literally tell myself, like, you have permission, like, you have permission to feel, you have permission to be sad. Like, if you feel sad, it's okay to be sad. Like, your feelings are valid, and you don't need to have a reason right now, this moment, to be sad, because you're carrying all this weight from many, many, many years ago, and even like recently, and it just keeps getting bottled up. And so I've been working a lot on letting them out, just giving myself that permission. And then when I feel tense, I'm like, breathe, and like, you know, just let it go and relax. And so I also want to say that I never, ever, ever knew how much being a parent or having a little human being could trigger me, because I used to babysit all the time, and that was never triggering. But I also think that because I didn't have them 24/7 for the rest of my life, it was just like taking care of you, and I'm playing with you, or do, you know, whatever it is that I'm assigned, and you give them back. You know, you give them back, and that's it. They're not yours. But now it's like, this is my little human, and I'm trying to do things right, and I'm trying to break that cycle. I don't want it to keep going, and in doing so, it brings up a lot of memories. It's triggering, and I just know that it's part of the process. Like, when you clean out an injury, you have to dig it, and you have to clean everything out. You can't cover it up, because covering it up it's only gonna put something on top to hide it. It's not actually cleaning it out. And so right now what I'm doing is, I'm actually find myself journaling a lot more every day now, because every day is something new, and every day is a learning experience. And along with that comes grace. Grace to know that I am doing things. I'm doing things. I'm doing things the best I can. And whether, I don't want to put a label to it. I don't want to put labels, because then that means I'm putting labels onto my childhood. And I always want to believe that people are doing the best they can. And I truly, truly believe that people, our ancestors, our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents, our guardians, whoever it is that helped raise us and that raised us, because it took a village and it takes a village, that they were doing truly, truly the best they could with the resources they had. And I truly, truly believe that. And I know that I am truly doing the best I can with the resources I have. And I know that I have so many resources that I don't take it for granted. And I also need to be gentle with myself, because I put so much pressure on myself to never lose my temper. I think that's what it is. Now I know why I feel guilty. See, I'm learning. I feel guilty because I put so much pressure on myself, because I want to be the best parent. I want to be the best mom. I want to be the best to her. And in doing so, when I do the once in a lifetime, no, not a lifetime, but like the rare moment that I do lose my patience, I carry so much guilt, and I feel the guilt like 10 times more intense, because I feel like a failure. I feel like as though I let her down. I feel like as though I ruined her. Like, just like when that book said, her positive sense of self, I cried and I was like, oh my God, I ruined her, right? But then no, I didn't ruin her. Like, I just feel it so much and so heavy. And I'm telling you, I felt like Jesus. I was like, oh my God, that's it. I'm dying. Like, I can't. But then the more I work through it, the more I work through it, the more I read, the more I learn about myself and read myself, because I'm literally like going back and I'm like, okay, what was it that triggered me? Why did I feel like this? And it's hard to, because I blocked out a lot of memories, and it's also just hard remembering your childhood. And so, or at least for me. And so for sure, after I gave myself that grace and that permission to feel compassion for myself and my inner child, oh man, I just felt like that cross totally lifted, and I felt like the clouds, yeah, the rain went away, the clouds, and like little sunshines came out and little rain was, and it was like an aha moment, like aha, and it just felt so awesome. And let me give myself a pat on the back, because it truly felt so awesome to know, hey, I did one thing that I wasn't proud of, and I repaired it. And I did things that I am so proud of. And I know that those are core memories. Okay, I don't know that for sure. But I know that in today, that I did something awesome and that I provided her with opportunity to live life. And I followed the motto, there is no bad weather. What was it? No bad weather, just bad clothes. I have no idea what it is. But there's no bad weather is basically a phrase. And um, I just feel like that really is it. Like, go outside, live the life day to day, enjoy nature, enjoy the weather, enjoy the world. And being in that moment, putting myself in her eyes for those minutes, it was amazing just to watch her laugh and watch her smile. And yeah, we were both getting wet, we both got drenched, my phone got wet, everything. But it was just the beauty of her living in that moment. And how rare is it that we live in the moment and enjoy it? Because the past is the past. Yeah, the future is not here. And all we have is right now. And in the right now of this morning, she played in the rain, she jumped in puddles, she enjoyed the agua. And and I watched her and I observed her and I admire her. And also, she didn't have rain boots because I thought her boots were waterproof. They're not. And she didn't have a waterproof jacket. So I totally ordered her some because she definitely needs them. And I have boots. But it's just so nice to know that there's no worries in that moment, and in this moment as well. I repaired that. I gave myself grace, and it's all about learning and moving forward. And today will be another day, and it's a day by day learning experience, because literally it's so true when people say that parenting doesn't have a manual, because I will say this, there are millions and millions of books. We go to the library time and there's a section. There are so many books out there. And this is so funny because I pick some up while she's playing sometimes, and I read like a page or two that I can. And everyone has something different to say. Some people will tell you, oh, you're being too gentle. Don't do this. Some people will say, oh, you're being too tough. Authoritarian. Is that how you say authority? Like authoritarian parent. Don't do that. You're being too tough. Okay? And so there's so many books. All of them contradict each other. All of them tell you something different. And there is not one single book that I have read that I can be like 1000% I agree with you completely. No, because there's things that I pick and choose from all of them that it's like, okay, I see your point. Or I just want to say this, always follow your heart, always follow your gut, and follow your instinct, because that is one thing that I've been learning now that I'm a parent, and I'm trying to like set a good example, be a good role model, right? And just also learn about myself. I realized that too many times I didn't say no. Too many times I only agreed, or I only went with the flow because confrontation was too much for me. Saying no was too much for me. Disagreeing was too much for me. And I don't want to live like that, because then things happen. I'm like, I know I should have done this, or I knew, or like I knew I didn't want to do that, or I didn't want to do that and I did it, and look what happened, right? And so many times I feel like that. Not so much regret, but like oh man, like I knew it. And then I punish myself for it, and I have all this guilt. And so one thing I want to say is follow your gut, follow your heart, and as a parent, do what you think is best. And also, if you are not a parent, get in there. Get in there and learn about yourself, because you will learn so much. It never ends. It never ever ends. And start, if you are interested in journaling, message me or comment, because I would love to talk more about journaling. I've had a journal since I can remember, since like elementary school. And I still have them in my old room in the closet. And yeah, it's really helped me a lot. I love journaling. I love writing. I love talking in general, but I love letting it out and writing, and knowing that it's me just getting that healing. Yeah, and so follow your gut, follow your heart, no matter what type of relationship you're in, or with who, or with what. Always follow your heart, always follow your gut, always speak up. If you want to say no, say no. No is an actual word. It's not a half sentence, it's a full sentence. So no, thank you. However you want to say it, I'm learning that, and it's hard still, but I'm learning it, because I don't want to live my life knowing that I didn't completely do what I wanted to do, because then I live my life doing it for other people, or pleasing other people, or being there for other people instead of myself. I put myself on the back burner too many times. I've done that, and I can no longer live like that. So please listen to yourself, listen to your spirit, your soul, and always follow you, your spirit, your soul, because you did not just come all this way. You did not come all this way, and our ancestors did not come all this way to see us live a partial life, or an incomplete life, or a life pleasing others. Please yourself first. I'm pleasing myself, I'm healing myself, and I am also loving the person that I am, and giving myself that grace, that forgiveness, that compassion. And ultimately, like I said earlier, the word is free. I want to liberate myself of all the guilt that I have, and don't not carry it, because it really does weigh heavy. And I want to be free. I want to be free to live my life, to live the day to day, and enjoy the weather, enjoy the books, enjoy the food, and just be free in what it is that this life is, because life is too short. It's way too short. So thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, comment, message, like, subscribe. I hope you did enjoy this video. Okay, thank you so much for watching. What? What?